Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are taking a word problem and creating a system of equations from that problem and using that to answer the questions that we need answered here. So this is a problem from CPM course 3, and this is section 6.1.2, specifically number 6-17. So we'll read it together. Frank weighs 160 pounds and is on a diet to gain 2 more pounds a week so that he can make the football team. John weighs 208 pounds and is on a diet to lose 3 pounds a week so he can be on the wrestling team in a lower weight class. So I have two situations. I have Frank, who is currently 160 pounds, right? LBS. And he wants to gain weight. So he wants to add 2 pounds per week. So I'm taking little notes here. And then I have John. John is currently 208 pounds and he wants to lose. He's on a diet. So Frank is on a diet that gains weight. John is on a diet to lose weight. So losing would be negative. He wants to lose. So negative 3 pounds per week, right? So I have a situation where I have this initial value and then a growth, right? A growth, whether it's a growth rate of a positive rate or a negative rate. So this is where we bring in this equation, our standard equation here of our y equals mx plus b equation, where m always is your growth and b is always your initial value, right? Your starting point, your initial value, your starting point. So I can write an equation for each person, right? So for Frank, I would say y equals, well, his growth is positive 2. So that's the m. M is the growth, positive 2. And then we always have the x in my equation, plus my initial value is 160. So that's Frank's equation, right? The equation for John, y equals, and so his growth is a negative 3. He wants to lose, so negative 3, and then x, and then his initial value is 208. Okay. So if I'm defining my variables here, just so that way we can see that, what does my y and what does my x represent? My x is what? X is number of weeks, right? Because it's 2 pounds per week. 2 pounds per week. So x is the number of weeks. Negative 3, loss of 3 pounds per week. My y would represent total pounds, right? The weight, the total pounds. So that's what my variables represent. These are my two equations. So now I use those to finish this question. So it says, if Frank and John can meet these goals with their diets, when will they weigh the same and how much will they weigh at that time? So I want to know, when will their weight, when will these y's be equal? So I use the equal value method because I know I want to find out at what week are those y's equal. So I set those two equal to each other. I set this 2x plus 160 is equal to negative 3x plus 208. I need to find what x, and x represents weeks, what x gives me equal weights, gives me the equal y's. That's this equal values method, right? So I remember doing this. So I'm going to solve for x. So I'm just going to go ahead and get all my x's on one side, add 3x to both sides. Okay, that'll eliminate the x's on this side. At the same time, I'll go ahead and eliminate the constants on this side by subtracting 160 from both sides. Okay, so what I have here is I have 5x is equal to, because that's gone, and then 208 minus 160 is 48. Then divide by 5, divide by the coefficient. So x equals, when you divide that out, that looks like 9.6. 9.6. So what does that say? So that says it's going to take 9.6 weeks for them to weigh the same. Because it says, when will they weigh the same? Oops, up here. When will they weigh the same? That's what it was asking, right? So when they'll weigh the same is in 9.6 weeks. So we'd say in 9.6 weeks, they will weigh the same. And then it asks the question, what is that weight? How much will they weigh at that time? So to figure out how much they weigh, well, I then have to take that x that I got here and plug it back into the equations to figure out what that is. And really, I discovered when the y's are equal, so I just got to take it and plug it into one of them. So I'm going to plug it into the positive up here. So y is equal to 2x plus 160. That's Frank. So I'm going to take that 9.6. So y is equal to 2 times 9.6 plus 160. So that's, let's see, 19.2 plus 160, which is equal to 179.2 when I add that 19. So they'll weigh the same. So there's our answer. So in 9.6 weeks, they will weigh the same at, and I'll just go and say it, 179.2 pounds. So there's my answer based on my equations I wrote and using the equal values method to solve that system. Okay, there we go.